Welcome to Come Get Woo Woo. We're your hosts, Becky and Ro, here to hold space for the unseen, the unspoken, and the deeply felt. This is a place for seekers, for those who sense that there's more, for those who hear between the words, feel beyond the room, and know without knowing why.
Together, we'll explore the language of spirit, the clarity of your clairs, and the signs that rise up when you're ready to notice. You're not imagining it, you're remembering it. This is Come Get Woo Woo.
Have you felt the shift lately? Not just the new year feeling, but something deeper, faster, more alive? Long before calendars and clocks, time was measured by the natural world, by movement, cycles, and living symbols. Some years whisper and others arrive with fire and motion, but each year carries its own personality, pace, and its own lessons. Hey, woo-woo seekers, welcome back to Come Get Woo-Woo with Becky and Ro. I'm Becky.
And I'm Ro. Today we're diving into a system that's been mapping energy for thousands of years, Chinese astrology. Not the version with just your animal year. We're talking about living, breathing system that shows how energy moves, what kind of energy you have, and where it shows up in life, and how it interacts with the world around you. Today's episode will be part of a 3-part series. We're going to start at the beginning because Chinese astrology, you can't skip steps. First, we'll talk about yin and yang, how the energy flows. Then the 5 elements, what kind of energy you're working with. And after that, we'll explore seasons and directions, when and where energy expresses itself. And finally, we'll get into the animals and the 4 pillars, how all of it layers together to tell a story about you, your relationships, your ambitions, and your legacy. For our charts, we use fsinmotion.com, or you could look for Bazi calculators in Google, and you spell that Bazi. By the end of this episode, you'll understand not just the who of a person, but the how and the why of your energy. Chinese astrology isn't just a chart, it's a story of life itself, moving through time, space, and the subtle currents that guide us all. But before we dive into what Bazi is, Chinese astrology, and our rabbit hole, we're going into a new animal year. Do you want to start us off with that, Becky?
Absolutely. Chinese New Year begins on February 17th. It marks the first new moon of a lunar cycle. On February 4th, this is the start of the spring in the Chinese calendar. This starts the year of the fire horse. The horse represents freedom, speed, and boundless energy. When you pair that with the element fire, the result is pure, radiant propulsion. 2026 is a 60-year resonance year. This is called the stem branch return. The last time this precise energy appeared was in 1966, and it always promises a time of major and visible change. People born under fire horse years often feel ahead of their time. They struggle with restriction or rigid roles, trigger change just by being present, and have a burn it down and build it right again streak. The fire horse energy affects everyone. It brings intense action. If you've been waiting to launch a new idea or make a dramatic change, the fire horse year provides the fuel. Expect things to move incredibly fast. It seems similar to the 1 year that we're currently in. Fire relates to the heart, joy, and visibility. This is the year where being authentic, expressive, and passionate, pursuing your truth will be rewarded. The shadow side is the tendency towards impatience and recklessness. The fire horse doesn't like to sit still. So we must be mindful to slow down and avoid burnout. In folklore, Fire horse years are thought to produce people who are bold, ambitious, and sometimes a little headstrong. In Japan, China, and Korea, especially in 1966, many families deliberately avoided having children because the fire horse sign was believed to create rebellious women, strong willed children who could not be tamed, individuals who brought misfortune to husbands or fathers, and lifelong unpredictability, causing a drop of over 20% in births at that time. Most of us know the Chinese zodiac for the paper placemats in our favorite restaurant. You find your birth year, see your animal, like the fire horse, and think, well, that's a whole story.
But when we stumbled upon Bazi, we realized the year is just the beginning. It's like looking at the cover of a book and realizing there are more chapters waiting inside. We aren't professional Chinese astrologers, but we spent a lot of time down this rabbit hole translating technical jargon into something easy to digest. Think of this as a Bazi 101. Our goal is to give you high level understanding of the building blocks so that when you pull up your chart, you actually know what you're looking at. Bazi is a massive ancient system with layers that take decades to master. We wanted to simplify the basics so you can speak the language. That way, if you ever decide to sit down with a professional consultant, you'll already have the foundation to get the most of the experience. Not all Bazi calculators are the same. Since the system depends on the sun's exact position, results can vary slightly depending on the tool or the time zone. Don't worry. Once you get to understand the structure, the core of your 4 pillars stays the same. You can simply Google Bazi calculators for your chart. There are many different facets of Chinese astrology like Feng Shui and purple star astrology, but let's get down into our rabbit hole of Bazi astrology. What is Bazi?
Well, the meaning of Bazi is actually 8 characters. Chinese astrology most commonly practiced through Bazi, the 4 pillars of destiny. It's a system that maps the energetic relationships present at the exact moment of your birth. The year, the month, the day, and the hour all matter. Together, they form a snapshot of energy in motion. Your animal sign, like the dragon or a tiger, is only a small piece of the chart. It's about 1/8 of the full picture, and honestly, the least important if you're looking for real self-understanding. Unlike Western astrology, Chinese astrology doesn't use planets, suns, or the moon. It works on 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. The entire chart is about how these energies support, weaken, control, and nourish each other.
So, what do Chinese astrologers do?
A Chinese astrologer reads energy mechanics. They look at how your qi is distributed, supported, blocked, or overworked in a person's life and then explain how it shows up in real ways. They read how the energy is structured in your life, how it changes over time, and how to work with it instead of against it. It's less about who am I and more about how does my engine actually run. Do you want to start us off, Ro, with what the first layer of Bazi is?
Oh, I'd love to. So, Chinese astrology starts with motion, not identity. Yin and yang explain the basic rhythm of life itself: expansion and contraction, action and rest, expression and absorption. Every sign, every element, every pillar only makes sense once you understand how energy moves between these 2 states. Without yin and yang, the zodiac is just labels floating around with no context. Yin and yang are not opposites fighting each other. They're a cycle. One gives birth to the other. Too much yang collapses into exhaustion. Too much yin sinks into inertia. This matters because Chinese astrology is about timing and balance, not this is who you are forever.
See, that's very interesting. I've always heard about yin and yang. I didn't understand it fully, so this is very interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. I always thought they were exact opposites.
But I knew about them, but I didn't know how they even were part of you. You know, it was just a saying as far as I was concerned.
Yes, and the little black and white.
Yes, yes, the little symbol that it represents, that's all I knew about it.
So yin and yang is about how you act, how you recover, how you respond to pressure, how you grow. Two people can have the same animal sign and live completely different lives depending on how yin or yang in their charts leans. So yin and yang are two expressions of the same energy in motion. One turns into the other constantly.
So this is just very cool because it breaks it down to so much more.
Yes, I agree. Well, the same thing with Western astrology. Everybody born on a certain date is not going to be the same because everything else has to fall into place. Yin in Western astrology would be like the moon. It's receptive, inward, and subtle. This is your inner world, rest, reflection, intuition, empathy, and comfort. In life, yin shows up as a quiet reading time, emotional presence for a friend, and knowing when to stop and recharge. Yang, you could think of it as the sun in Western astrology, active, outward, expressive. This is your outer world, drive, ambition, confidence, visibility, and action. In life, Yang shows up as starting the project, speaking up in the meeting, competing, and creating momentum. So everyone has both. No one is meant to live entirely in one mode. Too much yang leads to burnout. Too much yin leads to stagnation. Balance is not equal at all times. Balance is knowing what energy the moment requires. Yang to launch something new. Yin to sit with the feedback and actually hear it. So we're talking about elements next. Now, I know Western astrology has elements. So how do they compare?
Western astrology uses elements fire, earth, air, and water. So this is to describe temperament, where in Bazi, it's also used as elements, but they're different because they use wood, fire, earth, metal, and water to describe how the energy grows, peaks, stabilizes, contracts, and rests. The five elements are not personality boxes like Western astrology. They are living energies that interact, support, and control one another. Everyone has all five. The chart shows which ones are loud and which ones are missing and which ones need help. The five elements describe the foundational energies of all life. They define your personality and the critical relationships needed for balance. We have the first one, which is wood, which is about growth. So, wood is the element of growth and vision. People with strong wood energy are pioneering, ambitious, visionary, and quick to initiate change. Wood is the force that pushes life upward and outward, setting goals and driving expressions. However, wood's rapid, expansive energy needs the structure of metal to manage its growth and provide clear direction, ensuring the effort is purposeful rather than chaotic. So then we have the next one is fire. And the fire energy is one of joy and spirit. People with strong fire energies are passionate, charismatic, expressive, and fast moving. Fire brings warmth and inspiration to the world, but it critically needs earth to stay consistent. Without this grounding, fire burns out bright and quickly disappears.
Ah, so this is where the horse is picking up its passion is through the fire.
Absolutely. It's just kind of fun. Like, I know I'm a wood tiger. I'm initiating, but I need that metal. Next, we have earth. Earth is an element of security. This energy is stable, reliable, nurturing, protective, and quietly intelligent. Earth holds everything together, but its drawback is that it can overthink and worry. So the element of wood helps Earth push the growth instead of staying stuck in the perpetual caretaking mode.
Oh, this is where my overthinking comes in. I have a lot of earth.
And looking at our charts, I have a lot of earth. Yes. I have earth and wood, I believe.
Yeah, yes, you do. You have earth, wood, metal, and wood.
I'm just lacking the water. So now we'll go into metal. Metal is the energy of discipline. It's ethical, structured, decisive, and sharp minded. Metal creates necessary order and boundaries. However, without the fluidity of water, metal can become too rigid and emotionally distant, creating unnecessary strictness. Interesting.
That's me.
Are you all metal?
I'm
Ooh.
not, but my day master is metal.
Oh, yes.
And I have no water.
Well, we need to get you some water.
Yeah. We both need water.
We do. So the water element is wisdom. This energy is adaptable, resourceful, sensitive, and deeply philosophical. Water understands depth and strategy, but it often needs the expression of wood to push ideas outward instead of keeping its wisdom entirely internal. So those are kind of really interesting and vastly different than Western astrology.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the elements explain why you do what you do, not just what you do. They show you what you naturally bring into relationships, where you drain energy, and what kind of support actually works for you. Yin and yang show movement. Yin and yang tell you the direction and the intensity of the energy. The five elements tell you the quality of the energy. Think of it as yin and yang are the switch, and the elements are the current running through the wires. The next section I found very interesting. It's about the seasons. So, Ro, do you want to go over the seasons?
Oh, I'd love to. So, energy behaves differently depending on what and where it exists. Growth happens in spring, storage happens in winter, expansion peaks happen in summer, and refinement occurs in autumn. Directions anchor these cycles into space, not just time. This gives meaning to everything that follows. So the seasons in Chinese philosophy are not merely about temperature or weather. They represent four crucial phases of energetic flow that govern all things in existence. Earth isn't represented by a season. It's the bridge where the energy shifts. It's the pause before the next big change. Spring is the phase of growth, birth, and initiation. This is a time when energy bursts forth, driving new ideas and rapid development. The element here is wood. Late spring is the phase of rooting, fertilization, and consolidation. During these 18 days, the rapid upward energy of spring, wood, slows down to the ground itself before the intense heat of summer, fire, arrives. Earth acts as an anchor here, making sure the new ideas and projects have enough soil to withstand high energy and expansion ahead. Summer is the phase of expansion, visibility, and expression. Energy reaches its peak, spreading outward and demanding visibility, action, and full expression. Here, the element is fire. Late summer is the phase of integration, stability, and nourishment. Energy slows slightly to integrate, nourish, and sustain. The element here is earth. This is the most notable one because the jump from summer, maximum heat, and the fire, to autumn, which is cooling, and metal is the most extreme shift in nature. And I think this is really where the aha moment came, the explanation of all of the seasons.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
And how Earth is that center for each of the seasons, like late spring, late summer, and then we'll talk about late autumn and late winter. It's just amazing how well thought out it seems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it is very, very interesting.
I agree. Next is autumn. So this is the phase of harvest, refinement, and boundaries. This is when energy naturally contracts inward, leading to the gathering of resources and the establishment of clear structures and limits. And the element here in this phase is metal. So late autumn is the phase of setting, hardening, and descent. In this earth transition, the sharp, structured energy of autumn, which is metal, begins to settle into the deep stillness of winter, which the element is water. It is the final grounding of the year where structure of the harvest is secured into the core, protecting the resources before the period of deep rest and survival begins. So winter is the phase of storage, rest, wisdom, and survival. Energy is deeply withdrawn, focused entirely on conservation, deep reflection, and preparing the inner core for the next cycle of life. An element here is water. That to me sounds like a bear hibernating, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because I wasn't going to stop you, but this makes so much sense to me. I grew up on a farm. So each of these elements, you do it on a farm. A lot of people spray fertilizer and stuff like that right after a harvest to prepare it for the winter. So it's 100% like that. They till the soil before they start the seeds. Makes complete sense to me. So it's really fascinating.
Yeah, it all falls into place on how it goes and how well thought about each of the seasons are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Totally. Yeah, your aha moment, totally get it. Yeah.
I agree. Everything here is fascinating.
Well, this is why we had the deep rabbit hole that we end up going down, because so much more fascinating than just the one year.
Absolutely. So late winter is the phase of thawing, preparation, and grounding. This is the earth buffer where the still energy of winter water begins to stabilize. So the burst of spring, which is wood, has a foundation to root into. It's the moment where wisdom turns into a practical plan, ensuring the new growth is supported by a solid base. So, Becky, do you want to go over how Bazi interprets the directions of the energy of flow?
Yeah, and this is, again, very fascinating to me. The cardinal directions provide a fundamental orientation of energy, influencing how it's expressed and received. Western astrology uses houses to show where life plays out, where Bazi uses directions to show you where energy flows. So East represents beginning, movement, and growth. This is the direction of the rising sun and the initiation of all new projects and endeavors. The element here is wood and the season of spring. So then the south represents the peak, expression, heat, action. This is the height of the day, the maximum outward projection of light, confidence, and vital energy. The element here is fire and the season is summer. So then you have west. West represents completion, contraction, and structure. This is the direction of the setting sun, where processes are finished, the energy is refined, and the most solid structural form. The element here is metal, and the season is autumn. So then you have north. North represents storage, depth, and inner focus. This is the deepest, most hidden phase where spiritual wisdom is cultivated and energy is conserved for renewal. The element here is water, and the season is winter. So you have all four directions, but then you also have the center. This represents balance, transition, and the core. This is the neutral point of gravity that stabilizes all other directions. It provides the security and grounding necessary for energy to shift from one phase to the next without losing its foundation. It's the energy of trust and nourishment, ensuring that every beginning has a solid base and every ending has a place to land. The element here is earth. Earth falls in the final 18 days of each of the season. So very cool.
I agree.
So now we're going to go into the part that everybody else knows. How does this all tie in with the animals from our placements row?
So the 12 animal signs are the earthly branches in the Bazi system. They represent 12 repeating energetic archetypes that cycle through the years, months, days, and hours. Each animal is tied to an element, a season, and a direction. Together, they describe how energy shows up in specific environments and periods of life. They are time markers. In Bazi, the earthly branches are commonly known as the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac, while the heavenly stems, the top row of the chart, represents your heavenly or surface personality. The earthly branches represent your physical reality and internal roots. They are the earth that holds the elements. They describe your deep-seated character, your family roots, and the timing of your life. So the earthly branches represent environmental, energy, and physical foundation. These archetypes provide the soil in which your day master grows. They represent your internal world, your private feelings, your physical health, and your relationship to your ancestry. Because each animal is tied to a specific season, direction, and element, they act as physical containers for your destiny. When an animal appears in your chart, it brings with it a hidden strength that supports your outward actions. So each of the 12 animal signs is a complete energetic profile defined by its direction, element, and yin or yang polarity. Since we're in winter, we're going to start with the north.
I love it.
So these signs are associated with the north and the winter phase, representing depth and conservation. The pig direction is northwest, and their yin water. As yin water, the pig is inwardly calm, sincere, and pleasure-loving, finding wisdom in stillness and trust. Pig sits early winter, when qi is fully withdrawn and returns to storage. This is yin water, restorative, receptive, and trusting the cycle. North-northwest marks the descent into stillness. Pig belongs here because of recovery, regeneration, and surrender required before the cycle can begin again. For people that have the pig in their chart, for 2026, the fire horse can feel harsh at first, but ultimately clears emotional fog. It's where boundaries strengthen and self-trust grows. Now, the next animal in the north is the rat, and they are yang water. Their direction is north. As the yang water strategist, the rat is outwardly resourceful, adaptable, and ambitious, driven by opportunity and a strategic mind for accumulation. Rat marks the deepest yin point of the year. Energy withdraws, conserves, and waits. Water dominates. This is not a visible power. This is a strategic endurance. North is associated with cold, stillness, and hidden movement. Rat survives by intelligence, adaptability, and resource management. For those that have rat in their chart for 2026, this year challenges old survival patterns. Control versus freedom themes show up hard. Letting go is not optional. So our next animal is the ox, and their direction is northeast, and they are yin earth. As yin earth, the ox is inwardly patient, methodical, and reliable, showing a deep resistance to change and focus on long-term stability. Ox sits in late winter, when energy is still stored but no longer dormant. Yin earth dominates because the focus is containment, patience, and preparation rather than movement. Water is still present underneath, but earth stabilizes it. This is why ox is yin to earth. Northeast is the transition point between winter and spring. The ground is cold, but it's being readied. Ox energy supports what is coming without rushing it. So those born with the ox, 2026 is a friction year. The horse hates to be slowed. Ox hates being rushed. You're being asked to update systems, not defend them.
Wow, that's so interesting.
I like how the animals are so relatable to where they sit.
I agree. I agree. So I'm going to go over the east, which is spring, if you're okay with that.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So these are all associated with the east and the spring phase, representing initiation and expansive growth. So first we have the tiger, which the direction is northeast, and it's yang wood. As yang wood, the tiger is bold, courageous, initiator. Their energy is authoritative and fast moving, driven by excitement to create. Tigers mark the start of the spring. Energy is waking up after a long winter storage. Wood begins to push upward, but it's not fully established yet. That's why tiger is a yang wood. It acts first, moves first, and breaks ground. Northeast represents the transition out of winter into growth. Tiger isn't soft growth, it's decisive, forceful emergence. Those that have tiger on their chart, 2026 is going to bring leadership opportunities, risk taking, creative fire. And if you hesitate, the year will be a drag.
Now, Becky, you have tiger in your day and year. Both.
So,
yeah, two tigers.
So I have the strong wood tiger. So yeah, no dragging my feet on this year, isn't it?
No.
It's already started off pretty dang good, so we're good.
Yes.
So next we have the rabbit, which is in the east. So it's yin wood. As yin wood, the rabbit is the delicate artist. They are general, diplomatic, and harmony seeking, valuing refinement and peaceful interaction. Rabbits represent mid spring when growth is steady, balanced, and no longer forced. The wood is fully active but gently. This is yin wood, not pushing like tiger, but spreading evenly and harmoniously. East is where the sun rises cleanly and consistently. Rabbit belongs here because the energy now prioritizes balance, cooperation, and smooth expansion rather than survival and aggression. So for those that have rabbit in their chart, for 2026, you benefit by staying adaptable and not overthinking every move. Ro, you have rabbit in your hour chart, right?
I do. Not at first, I thought, but yes, I do.
So you're going to have to not overthink things, Ro.
That's That's my whole chart.
So the last we have for the spring is the dragon. So this is going to be the southeast direction. It's Yang Earth. As Yang Earth, the dragon is the commanding visionary. Their charismatic and power bring catalyst, visible growth to any endeavor. Dragon marks late spring, the final build-up before summer expression. This is a transition season, which is why dragon holds earth with embedded water and wood. It stabilizes rapidly rising energy so it doesn't collapse. Dragon is yang earth because it actively manages pressure and momentum. East southeast reflects the shift from growth to heat and visibility. This is the stored power preparing for the release. So those that have dragon in their chart for 2026, this is a power year, but only if your ego is kept in check. Very, very cool.
Yeah. So I'll go over the south.
Okay.
So these signs are associated with the south and the summer phase, representing peak action and outward visibility. So the snake is southeast and yin fire. As yin fire, the snake is subtle strategist. They are deeply intuitive, thoughtful, magnetic, preferring perceptive, private action to open display. Snake sits in early summer when fire has ignited but hasn't yet peaked. This is yin fire, controlled, focused, and intentional. The heat is present, but the strategy still matters. Southeast is rising fire with awareness. Snake belongs here because it channels intensity rather than exploding it. This is why snake is perceptive, calculating, and precise. So if you were born the year of the snake or you have snake in your chart, if you stay intentional, this year can be quietly brilliant. So the next is horse. Horse is south and yang fire. As yang fire, the horse is a pure embodiment of high energy, independent, expressive, and restless. They are driven by freedom and outward engagement. Horse sits at the peak of yang. Energy is fully expressed, visible, hot, and outward. Fire dominates here. This is not planning or preparing, this is doing. South is where the energy is most exposed. That's why horse energy is fast, expressive, freedom-seeking, and hard to contain. So for those that have horse in their chart, this is a personal amplifier year. You may feel restless, bold, impatient, or suddenly allergic to compromise. Watch for burnout. Fire horse doesn't stop unless forced.
Ro, you have this in your year, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be patient with me, right?
I'm always patient.
Apparently not this year.
So the next we have is the goat. The goat is southwest, yin earth. As yin earth, the goat is the compassionate nurturer. They are gentle, creative, and highly sensitive, using their soft nature to support others, which can make them prone to worry. The goat represents late summer when fire energy begins to soften and earth becomes dominant again. This is yin earth, nurturing, integrating, and emotionally sensitive. The southwest signals the beginning of contraction after peak heat. Goat belongs here because the role is to absorb what is expressed, tend to what remains, and stabilize before decline begins. So those with goat in their chart, this is a challenging but growth-heavy year. You'll either resent the push or thank it later.
Neither one of us have goat in our charts, so we're good.
Yep.
So now we'll go with the last one, which is the West. So that represents autumn. All these signs are associated with the West and the autumn phase, representing structure, refinement, and results. So the first is the monkey, which is Southwest Yang metal. As Yang metal, the monkey is the clever organizer. The energy is sharp, inventive, and adaptable, using their wit to gather and structure information. Monkey marks early autumn when the energy shifts direction from outward to inward. Yang metal emerges to cut, source, and redirect. Southwest reflects descending light with remaining momentum. Monkey belongs here because adaptability matters when the rules change. This is a quick thinking, problem solving energy responding to contraction. And for those that have this in their chart for 2026, you might find a restless, inventive, and slightly chaotic energy. So pick fewer things and go deeper. So then you have the rooster. The direction of rooster is west, and it has a yin metal. As yin metal, the rooster is the precise refiner. They are observant, confident, and detail orientated, excelling at creating highly organized systems. Autumn is when energy turns inward and sharpens. Growth is no longer the goal, precision is. Metal rules here. Rooster cuts away excess, organizes, and perfects. The West represents completion, clarity, and judgment. That's why rooster energy is discerning, detail-focused, and exacting. For 2026, the rooster clashes with the horse's energy if rigidity takes over. This year asks for flexibility, not perfection. So, lastly, we have the dog, which is northwest. This is Yang Earth. As Yang Earth, the dog is the protective anchor. The energy is intensely loyal, ethical, and grounded. They're using their honesty to stand watch through the deep vigilance can lead to skepticism. Dog represents late autumn when consolidation and protection becomes essential. This is Yang Earth, guarding resources and reinforcing boundaries. West Northwest prepares for the cold withdrawal of the winter. Dog belongs here because loyalty, responsibility, and defense matter before energy fully retreats. So for the year of 2026, you'll feel the call to protect, advocate, and stand up for something real. Now, those that don't know, Ro has 2 dogs in her chart, along with her horse. She has a day in her month and a dog.
It kind of goes with the Libra, too, if you look at it.
It really does. It really does. So why does this all matter? For instance, tiger belongs to spring because it's initiator. Horse belongs to summer because it spans. Rooster belongs to autumn because it refines. And rat belongs to winter because it survives and stores. So it's just kind of interesting. So we took it upon ourselves to actually do a series of harmony and clashes. So, Ro, do you want to go over the harmony?
Sure. The trines, or harmony triangles, group the 12 animal signs into 4 sets of 3. What connects these 3 animals is not just passing compatibility, but a shared energetic wavelength, a common approach to life, motivation, and goal setting. So first, we're going to go into the initiators. The rat, the dragon, and the monkey form the trine of the initiators. These are the strategic thinkers, charismatic, and powerful energetic initiators who know how to build momentum. Their shared destiny is to move the world through clever strategy and dynamic action. The next we have is the rabbit, the goat, and the pig. They form a trine of the connectors. They are highly intuitive, compassionate, and focused on harmony. Their shared destiny is to be the builders of beauty, safety, and emotional depth, making sure peace and human connection is first. The ox, the snake, and the rooster form a trine of the executors. They are methodical, disciplined, and focused on results. Their shared destiny is to execute complex plans and maintain necessary structure, ensuring stability and long term success. The next is the tiger, the horse, and the dog. They form a trine of the independents. They are honest, highly expressive, and fundamentally driven by freedom and conviction. Their shared destiny is to move life forward through courage, loyalty, and their own personal truth.
So, Ro, you have a latent trine. When tiger year comes around, adds to that trine. So anytime a tiger enters a month, a year, or a day, it amplifies. This year also amplifies it because it's a horse year. This will feel much faster and more visible than 2025 was.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because a lot of tiger and you have horse and dog. So, we're very independent, but yet we mesh well together.
And it's probably because of the tiger and the horse and the dog.
Yeah. Very
Absolutely.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is why it became so fascinating that we had to go down these rabbit holes.
Yeah. We don't have anything that clashes in our charts with each other.
Oh, I have enough in my own chart to clash. Okay, no, not really, but yes. But I will go into the clashes. So I have just a few of them. So basically what these are, they're just opposites. So you have the rat and the horse. So it's north versus south. So the clash is the water versus the fire. And the clash between the deep hidden strategy of the rat and the bright, visible passion of the horse, it often brings mental restlessness and sudden change in one direction in life. Found it very interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for 2026, with the horse being in this year, this will definitely clash for the rat.
And it's not that it's going to be a bad thing. It's just one of the things that it does is it creates an imbalance that you feel like you're urged to change.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the big thing about it. So it's not like it's a horrible year for you. It's just, it initiates a change for you because you're uncomfortable. It's getting rid of that stagnation. So then next we have the ox versus the goat. This is northeast versus southwest. So it's the clash of the earth elements. You've got the stability versus security. Because they're both earths, this is a very heavy clash. It's like two mountains grinding together. It often relates to deep-seated belief systems, family roots, and property. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So then you have the tiger versus monkey. Now, I've been a tiger. I always thought it was the monkey was my enemy sign. And it's actually not. It's just we clash because we have different perspectives. So, it's wood versus metal. So, or direction will be east, northeast versus west, southwest. So the tiger, the pioneer, meets the problem solver, the monkey. And this often is a physical clash involving movement, travel, or sudden shifts in career or busyness. That's all. So it's kind of interesting, physical clashes. So then you have the rabbit versus the rooster, which is east versus west. And this is a wood versus metal again. This is going to be a flexible diplomat, the rabbit, meets the sharp perfectionist, the rooster. This usually relates to relationships or personal values, the struggle between being kind and being right. Interesting. These are just fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So then you have the dragon versus the dog. So this is east, southeast versus west, northwest. So the clash is going to be heaven versus hell traditionally. So it's a clash of spirit. This is the most spiritual and mental clash. The ambitious dragon meets the loyal, courageous dog. It often brings major internal realizations and changes in one's social standing. Very interesting.
I thought I had this clash before.
Before because of the
Before
time change. It was how the time was configured, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So then the last clash that I have is the snake versus the pig. So this is going to be the southeast versus northwest. This is going to be the clash of intuition. So fire versus water. This is the observant snake meets the trusting pig. This clash often involves hidden matters. So hidden surprises, travel, shifts in how you see the world, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, different clashes, but you can understand in the Bazi chart, a clash acts as a catalyst. If you have any of those clashes within your chart, it suggests that the life of frequent change, travel, or internal tension that forces you to grow. If it comes from the year, it indicates the year where a status quo will be challenged. Okay. Now, on the positive side, without the clash, the energy becomes stagnant. And the clash is often the very thing that pushes a person out of the comfort zone and into its greatest achievement, like I kind of mentioned earlier.
So interesting.
I know. And you're going to explain what they are.
I am.
All right. So go for it, Ro.
The 4 pillars are the year, the month, the day, and the hour. They are essentially a timestamp of energy taken at the exact moment you were born. Each pillar is made of an animal, earthly branch, and an element, heavenly stem. Together, they map energy over your life, who you are, how you interact, and what drives you. So the year pillar represents your outer generational energy. This changes every year with the Chinese solar new year, usually around February 3rd or 4th. Think of it as the lens of your family and society. It reflects your ancestry, early environment, cultural influences, and how the world first sees you. It sets the backdrop for your life. A dragon year might give you a bold, energetic start, but it doesn't decide every choice. It's the stage you were born onto, the scenery of your life's opening act. Then we have the month pillar. The month pillar represents career, authority, and parents. So the month pillar shifts every month according to the solar calendar, not the lunar calendar or January 1st. So, for example, the month of the tiger begins around February 4th. This pillar shows your relationship with authority, career tendencies, developing skills, and the seasonal energy you grow into. It's often the strongest clue of your career path and personal growth arcs. So this is where you meet your mentors, bosses, collaborators, and shaping how you contribute to the world.
When you were talking about the difference between the first and the fourth, because it's January versus February. Today, I was talking to a client of mine about the new year, and everything goes by the year, and you look at the placemat and it's like, oh, I was born in this year, so I'm this animal. And she was talking about how her husband birthday's in January. So he was actually part of the year before.
Oh,
So she's
yes.
like, that finally made sense because he actually had a lot of the qualities of the previous year. And that actually does make a difference, that January versus February.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, no, no. Perfectly fine. So the day pillar is your core self and relationship energy. So the day pillar changes daily, cycling through a unique 60-day pattern of element and animal combination. It's all about your personal energy, personality, and inner tendencies and spouse or partner dynamics. The day stem, the element of this pillar, is your day master, the anchor of your entire chart. It's the main character everyone roots for, your authentic self at the heart of your story.
Now,
So,
this is the reason why the day pillar is actually one of the most important aspects of it, right?
absolutely. Like if you were born October 1st, you're a Libra. This is not everybody born on October 1st is going to be a dog.
Right.
They might be something else. So it's quite interesting.
Very cool.
So the hour pillar is your hidden ambitions, children, and legacy. So this shifts every 2 hours, dividing the 24-hour day into 12 animal segments. Like the hour of the rat is from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. It represents your inner drives, secret goals, and what you nurture privately and the energy you leave behind. So it's the subplot of your story, the dreams, the passions, and the projects that quietly shape your long term journey. So this is where we kept saying, well, I was a dragon, now I'm a rabbit.
Right. Yeah.
So Bazi uses the solar time, which is calculated by longitude. So whether your city sits on the east or the west of the time zone's center to the equation of time, whether the sun is running fast or slow that day due to the Earth's orbit, and whether its daylight savings time was in effect. What I did is I kind of Googled my hour, said it was daylight savings time, and the city and state I was born in. So my time changed.
I know I got a complex on mine because it brought me back. It's a running joke in my family that my mother and father, let's be fair, it's my mom. Um, I don't have an original birth certificate. Somewhere in the paperwork, she lost all of it. So my sisters, they give me crap about that. I was hatched. I wasn't born to the family, and
Oh,
yes, it's a running joke in the family. So that's why I couldn't get my time my birth time, and I was like, oh, this just flashbacks. No, it was funny. It wasn't a bad thing. It was actually quite comical. And if my sisters are listening to this, they'll be laughing their behinds off. So the reality of all of this is you have an animal ear. And this is going to give you social identity and generational influences. You have an animal month. You're going to have your career, your authority figures, and your parents. A day animal, and that's going to be your relationship and partner dynamics. You have an hour animal, and that's going to be children, legacies, inner drives, and hidden ambitions. One of the reasons why this all matters because the animals are the tools. They map the elemental combinations, clashes, and harmonies across time. So a dragon paired with a metal day master behaves very differently than a dragon paired with a wood day master. Same animal, completely different expression. The year animal is only one layer of the system designed to track energy, timing, and interaction. The real story lives in the elements and how they move through your life. The animals just tell you where and when the energy shows up. So then you have the yin and the yang, and the yin and the yang describes the fundamental flow of energy, receptive and active. Then you have the five elements. You have wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And this describes personality qualities, cycles, and how energy behaves and the timing. Then you have the directions and the seasons. And this is going to show where and when the energy operates. So north, south, east, west, winter, summer, etc. are more like life context and timing. So then you have the animal signs. So this is the archetypal energy in different layers. Societal influences, career, parental energy, relationship energy, hidden drives. Then lastly, you have Chinese trine groups, animals by energetic wavelengths and how they approach life, not just attraction.
So when we look at Western astrology, it's ego and expression focused. Chinese astrology is energy, timing, interaction focused. Western tells you who you are. Chinese astrology tells you how your energy moves, where it lands, and how it interacts with the world over time. Now that we've explored the flow of yin and yang, the energy of the five elements, the rhythm of the seasons and the directions, and the archetypes of the animal signs, take a moment to integrate what you've learned. Remember, Chinese astrology isn't about labels or prediction. It's a map of energy. Each layer carries lessons, opportunities, and insight on how your life moves in rhythm with the universe. When you honor these energies, you're navigating life with more awareness, intention, and clarity. I love doing this episode to uncover how energy moves through time, space, and personality. Take a moment to notice where your yin and yang shows up in your life, which elements are loudest for you right now, and how the seasons or directions might be shaping your experiences and choices. Every time you pay attention to these energies, you're aligning more deeply with your path and your personal power. So, Becky, what's happening in our next episode?
Well, before we get to the next episode, I just want to remind everybody, don't worry about too much, like trying to write this all down. I will have a printable that gives a breakdown of everything on our podcast extras. So in our next episode, though, we're going to be opening up the next layer of Chinese astrology. We'll be going into the stems, earthly branches, and the day master. The day master is the pillar that reveals your core self, your personality, and the energy you bring to your closest relationships. We'll show you how these pieces interact and influence your chart. Here are the words for next week from the Woo Woo Seekers Journal, A Journey for Your Signs and Symbols. We have forgiveness and freedom. See what rises. See what resonates. Go to @WooWooSeekers on YouTube to listen to the meditation for these words. You can find all of the words and a link in our newsletter at comegetwoowoo.com.
Oh, Becky, when's the next mini Aurapalooza?
The next one I'll be doing is actually going to be first weekend in February. That will be February 7th. At Echo Bodine's Mini Palooza. Yeah, so fun.
And they can reach you at Becky at comegetwoowoo.com.
They absolutely can. Becky at comegetwoowoo.com.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for getting woo-woo with us today. If something sparked a memory, a message, or just made you smile, share it with a fellow seeker, because the journey is always better when you can grow together. Be sure to find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Woo Woo Seekers, so you can like, follow, and subscribe.
You can also follow us by visiting our website, comegetwoowoo.com. We are so much more than just another podcast. We're building a community of seekers just like us. We love hearing from you. If you've got signs, symbols, or stories that you want to share, email us at woowooseekers@gmail.com. Or any questions about today's episode, you can email us at comegetwoowoo@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and as always, come get woo woo with us.